Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Julie. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. Today we are going to complete a double page layout featuring these pretty awesome photos and this great DSP paper from Stampin' Up. I'm going to do this with the help of a brand new sketchbook. This week I'm here with the creative design team and we are featuring brand new double page layouts from our brand new sketchbook. So let's go through the products together very quickly. Now this here, you'll notice that these are 6x6, but take a look at all of the options. There's so many papers and they are all so gorgeous. Now, even though this is 6x6, I've done a video where when you use scene paper on a layout, it can be difficult. So we'll go through the selection process for my layout. I will bring in the stamp set and dies, and you'll see that I've made a few changes on how you get them. I did purchase some magnetic sheets from Amazon. I will link that down below, and I really like that I can keep everything in one case. Now, when I did this, I ended up with this envelope here. Now, this envelope was the original packaging that these came into, and you'll see here that I've got little holes in here. It might not be evident right away, but what I did with this one, and I'm not sure if this is how I'm going to store the rest of my dies, but I just thought, you know what, waste not, want not. This is a very sturdy envelope. So I also picked up the Alphabet Ella mode, and it is perfect for scrapbooking. The size is really great, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But I just wanted to show you, this is how I've been keeping my dies from close to my heart. They used to have these really great envelopes here, and I really liked this system. And then when I started with Stampin' Up, of course, their system is different. Originally, these ones came in a smaller envelope like this one, and it could have fit, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But I decided, because of the size of my magnetic sheets, that I was going to cut them down to 6 inches. And now I can just add these to my current storage system. So let me just pop that in here. Now, of course, it's not the same size, but you know what? For now, I think that this is a good solution. So I thought I'd show you that before we start. So let's move some of these pretty things to the side. You'll notice here that I already have my title ready to go. And what I like about this alphabet is that you get doubles of the vowels, you get doubles of the R. So that is really, really nice. I did cut this banner on my Cricut, and I will put the M code in the description box down below. If you don't have a Cricut, you will need to cut, depending on your title, of course. This is 8.5 by 2 1/4. So some of you may know that I've been away for a little bit. First week of May, I met up with the creative design team, and we had an awesome week together. Janice flew all the way from Australia, and I thought, wow, that's a long way just for a week. Why don't we do something else? So we decided to go on an Alaskan cruise, and these are some of the photos from Glacier Bay, and I thought it would be really nice to document them because it's still fresh in my mind. I really wanted to use this collection. In this collection, you also have these great 12x12 sheets, and these are specialty design papers as well. And let me show you these, because these are actually prettier in person than they are in the catalog. Do you see how there's an ombre look to them, and then there's this silver, really, really pretty detail? Of course, this is the paper that I'm going to use for my photos. But you've got these gorgeous greens here, coral, you've got these pinks and these purples. This paper is definitely a must-have on your list. So I'm going to pull this one out, and you'll see why, because I think that my photos look really, really pretty with this blue background. Now that we have this paper right here, I find that it really grounds the photo and the colors are great. Definitely the colors match the DSP here because it's part of the same collection. We still have to go through which one we're going to use to accentuate our photos. I decided to bring in the Country Wood 12x12 wood grain papers as another sheet. And definitely there's tons of wood grains to pick from. I'm going to go quickly through them here. And you're probably wondering, well, why are you bringing these colors in here? I am because I do feel that wood grain is almost like a neutral color. Now you can see that I've got more blues here, but if I get my photos from behind here, this is just going to be a little bit too blue. I want my photos to stand out, and I also want to try and pick some colors out of here. Now I could pick the darker shade, but I find that it's fighting with this one here. This one here is a little bit pale, not too much of a pop. These two wood grains here are really, really nice. I find that it picks up on the skin tones in our photos, and it just gives a little bit more stability to all of this blue. I initially thought that the gray tone would be a good match as well, and it is, but you can see here that it's not really accentuating the photos, and that's what I want to do. So we're going to go with these two sheets right here. You're probably wondering here at this stage, which sketch did she pick and why? Well, let me show you. So this is just a printed copy of the cover from the brand new sketchbook. You have 52 sketches inside this sketchbook, and they all include measurements. After going through the entire sketchbook, I landed on this sketch right here. This sketch is on page 18, and the reason why I selected this sketch right here, for one, there's lots of photos. I have lots of photos to document. And two, I knew that I wanted to use a 6x6 format paper, and I think that it's going to be easier for me to tuck in all of these pieces that are here in back of the photos. I liked the really big title here right at the front, which allowed me to use my brand new alphabet here, which is Alphabet a la Mode. I'll show you a really nice treatment for this one here. For my foundation pages, I am going to use this really pretty wood grain paper, and of course I'm going to hollow that out because I don't want to use the full page, but I'm just going to show you how I'm going to start and why. So I've got this here as my base, which is the darker frame. And then I'm going to bring in some of my close to my heart cardstock. So basically what I did, I just tried to match what I have as far as cardstock and with this really pretty paper right here. This one here is the closest I could find to match the pretty peacock. It's actually called Peacock. It is a retired color from Close to My Heart, but it matches perfectly. I think I'm going to end up doing my mats with this one as well. So this is going to be the smaller frame here, and then it kind of suggests to me to bring in some white. Now the white, let's bring in some of those photos. The white is really white, right? And it was deterring from the colors that I have on my desk right now. So I'm going to bring the photos so that you can see them in frame. I decided to bring in linen. I'm not sure if the camera is going to pick up on this, but I just found that this was just a little bit softer and it matched a little bit more with this paper right here. This is what I have going on for my foundation page. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put those together, and then we're going to address all of these pieces that are at the back, and we're going to bring in this gorgeous paper. As I'm building my foundation pages, I just wanted to show you the benefit of hollowing out the center of really pretty pattern paper. And this one here, I am going to use, if you remember the sketch, there's a lot of little pieces at the back, and I will be bringing that back and tucking it in back of my photos. So this is a really good usable piece And let me show you, just in case you want to see how easy that is to do. You definitely need, you can't do this with a guillotine trimmer. And basically what I do is I sneak this over to the 1 inch right here. I bring my blade down at 1 inch and I go down to 11. And I rotate my paper and I simply hollow out the center. It does two things. It preserves paper if you don't have a whole bunch of it, and it also removes extra weight when you put these in your scrapbook. We don't need to have our scrapbook weigh 10 pounds when we're done. So this is also a really good way to kind of remove some of the bulk and remove the actual weight of your scrapbook, and it's that easy. I've got a really good piece that I can use, so I thought that I would share that with you. And I'm going to continue on with the assembly of these foundation pages. Here I have another really good usable piece, and I do plan on matting my photos. So this is another way to conserve paper and to further extend what you already have. We're going to add this here. And then we're going to add this one here. So then you can see how this foundation page comes together. Now that we have our foundation pages ready, let's add our photos. Now again, this was a trip that I took with Janice, and it was special because we have been working together for a few years now and we hadn't met. So when she decided that she was going to take the trip up to Vancouver, I asked her if she wanted to do something else, and I'm really glad that she said yes. This here is a few photos that we snapped when we went to Glacier Bay. If you've never done an Alaskan cruise or you've never gone to Alaska, it's pretty cool. It's a really neat place, and we did see quite a bit of wildlife. This is a conservation park, and you can only have 2 ships go in per day. And honestly, we didn't see the other ship, and it was so peaceful and surreal. The ice is still very much in sight. It was kind of chilly, and we did see beluga whales. We saw otters. They're huge. And even this little orca came up and said hi to the boat. So it was pretty neat. If you can go on an Alaskan cruise, I would highly recommend a balcony suite because you can just sit there and watch all of the wildlife. Now I took this photo here and I wanted to have the ship in the shot just to show you the magnitude and how big this glacier really is. It is really remarkable to see in real life, and it was a really fun trip to experience with Janice. So now we have our photos, and because I have tons of photos, I was able to crop them down and fit exactly the sketch that we have here. Now for the layering pieces. Now I could definitely bring this, but I know that I want to use that to mat my photos. So this is where this paper is going to come into play, and you see all that really pretty shine. I think that it mimics the glaciers really, really well. So I thought that I would bring that in, and I would introduce it here in back of my photos. Of course, I'm going to trim this down. So you can see here that as I'm bringing all of the pattern papers that I've selected, there's a lot of blues, but this wood grain paper really grounds and adds an extra element to something that would be monochromatic. Now, if you're new to my channel, I love monochromatic. It's my go-to design, but let's bring in a pop of color with these gorgeous patterns right here. Now these patterns here are a little tricky to work with because they're so pretty, and they can fight with your photos. The scale is the same. Definitely the trees here are not really good for my photos, although there's tons of trees up in Alaska. I could put that in, but I find that it's taken away from the photos. So we're going to say no to this pretty paper. This one here, I like the colors, and let's see the back. Oh, the back is pretty as well. So this here might look really good for my title. It's another blue, again, monochromatic girl here. I tend to go to the blues. I do like this, but I also like this one here. So let's keep this one out. And here we've got some browns and some greens. I'm not feeling that all that much. We have these ones here. These are kind of cool. So I'm looking at the back side and the front, and definitely this is a contender. You can see where I've got a little bit of color, but not too much. Now, I'm going to spare you all of this because look, there's so many pretty patterns in here. I think I'm going to stop at this one here, and let me see, there's a couple of ones here that are also very pretty. You've got this one here, which also matches, but not really. This is more of a teal, and this is more of a blue. There's tons and tons of papers. I'm going to stick with this one because I like how it's bringing a lot of my colors together. I also like this one. So let's see how that's going to shape up. Now, definitely I'm going to bring back my sketch, and this one here is a bigger piece. So this is why I'm bringing in this paper right here. And then this one here is a smaller piece. So I think that I can add my photo, and look at that. Do you see how it's really accentuating the photo, but it's not taking away from it? So I think that definitely this is a contender. This one here is nice as well. But I do like the pop of color right here. It picks up on the skin tones again. We're going to bring in this one as well. And let's see here if we bring this one. I think that that's a really nice combination. So let me get busy. I'll cut these pieces out and I'll show you how it looks. Let's look at the page now that I've cut all of my pieces. I've matted all of my photos. Let's cross-reference with our sketch right here. I've got some gorgeous pieces of pattern paper that are accentuating the photos. I love the pop of color, and I'm going to bring that in even more in a moment. But I kind of ran into a problem with my title. I don't know if you remember, but at the beginning I had cut this really cool white banner. And what happens when I lay it down on my layout, I'm kind of hiding all of this pretty paper. There's not a lot of paper here that is peeking out from underneath my photo, and I really don't want to hide it. So I have a really cool solution. Well, I think you're going to like it. I'm going to use vellum, and I'm going to add this right on top. It's not hiding any of the photo. It's not hiding the pretty paper. I did go ahead and I used my alphabet a la mode. And you see here, I used the back side of this one, and there's like this really cool pattern. So I made sure to spell out my words so that when I cut it out, it's all going to kind of match. Now, I don't know about you guys, but vellum is really hard sometimes to glue down. We always try and find ways to, hide the glue. And I think I have a good solution here for you. But do you see how my pattern is kind of going through the letters here? And that's how I achieved that. I love this alphabet. It's nice and big, and it's not too thick. So you can write a long title, as you can see here, and it doesn't take over the entire page, but you get your title that you want. I really do like the way that this is shaping up, but I do find that you are missing a little bit of that vellum piece. Like it's just sitting there. So I thought, why not cut a few more of these letters? So here I've got 3 layers. I don't want it to be too thick, but my plan is I'm going to sneak these underneath, and of course everything's going to fall, but it's just going to raise that vellum piece just a little bit. I'll be able to tack my top one on top, And it's going to give a little bit of separation, which is a really nice element, but it's not going to take over the entire page. I'm going to do the assembly off camera because it is going to be a little bit tedious, but I think it's going to be worth it. It's going to elevate my vellum piece just a little bit to add more interest, but not hide all the pretty paper. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then definitely I want to bring in some of these gorgeous flower dies right here and add some of my clusters. Now you can see here that we have flowers, and I'm going to do that with this die set right here. And I'm going to reintroduce this really pretty pattern paper. So let me put the title together and then we'll move on to the embellishments. Let's take a look at the layout right now before I adhere everything down. It's almost complete, and I have to tell you, I love how it turned out. Now this here was my idea of elevating the vellum paper by adding a few layers at the back of each of these letters, and it looks really, really great. I'm not sure if the camera is picking up on it, but I can definitely see the title, and it's got a little bit of separation where I can still see my gorgeous pattern paper. Now I knew that I wanted to embellish this layout, so I did pull out these dies right here from the Thoughtful Wishes. And let me walk you through what I did. I went through this gorgeous paper collection again. So this one here is the one I used to embellish my page, and it is really pretty. And I also used the back side right here. So those are those pieces. And then when it came to the flowers, I did two things. I used this one here, and if you flip that over, this comes in two pieces. So you've got the green piece if you want, and then the floral piece. So these are the dies that come with, and I cut all of the flower pieces using this sheet right here. And I really do love the way that it brings just a little bit of color to the page and it doesn't overwhelm it. So I did use one sheet of this one right here. And then this one here might look super busy to you, but this is what I used to do the branches. Now let me bring this up nice and close so you can kind of appreciate how that looks. I really like the way that these little flowers turned out, and by using the paper, I didn't have to kind of second guess my color choices. It was already within the paper collection that I was working with. Now the only cardstock that I did bring in for this larger die right here is Glacier on the dark side, and I just find that it's just enough of a pop to add interest to the page without overwhelming it. I did go ahead and I completed my journaling on my computer. I knew that I wanted to say quite a bit here, and I just felt that it was easier to do it on my computer. This is printed on self-adhesive vellum, and I will put everything that I've used here today down in the description. I also think I want to add a few gems in here, and these are going to lend themselves well. So let me adhere all of these pieces down and we'll come back for a project recap. All right, let's finish off this really pretty layout with some of these really pretty gems. These are Tinsel Gems. And the reason why they're called Tinsel Gems is that there's a little bit of tinsel inside all of them. I'm sure you can't see that, but I like that they have 3 different colors on one pack. And I'm thinking that I'm going to use the blue ones here, and maybe I'll throw in a couple of these really pretty pink ones as well. So I'm going to add some here at the top. And I think that this is just going to be the finishing touch right here. I'm going to add one here. Come on, little guy. Like so. Those are really pretty. And then I think I'll go into the pinks. Why not? These are all colors that match what I've been working on. So I think that that's going to work. I'm just going to add 2 here, and I think I'm going to drop some here just because they're so darn cute. And one more. And then maybe a larger one here at the bottom. And here, obviously, we have a little bit of a blank space. So we're gonna do a little cluster up here. And well, what do you think? If I would have told you that I was going to do a Glacier Bay layout using the Thoughtful Wishes 6x6 papers, you probably thought, no, I don't think that's going to work, but I think it totally works. I love the punch of color. It's very subtle, but it is there. Let me bring this up here and hopefully you'll be able to see the dimension that I got. Not a lot, but I did get some dimension by putting some of those letters at the back, and it just lifts that off. I love how these little dies turned out. It's the perfect embellishment. It's not too much. And overall, I'm really happy with my first layout using all Stampin' Up! Products. Don't forget to come back and watch all of the creative design team's video all week long. We are featuring brand new sketches from our brand new sketchbook. I hope that you've enjoyed this process. That's it for me today. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. If you want to see all of the videos from the CDT, click this playlist on the right. If you want to see another process video using scene paper, click this one here on the left. Don't forget to grab your sketchbook. Details are down below.